So it sounds like some good news coming up for Candice Dillard Bassett and Kenya Moore. Let's talk about it. Sky Squad, we are back in the building on this good Saturday morning. Lord have mercy, I'm rushing the days. I got a brunch to go to tomorrow, so I think I'm like subconsciously excited. Anyway, y'all, happy Saturday. If you have not subscribed to the channel, because I know sometimes you watch the video, but you forget to hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it and like this video if you like reality TV related content. So Candice Dillard Bassett is in the clear when it comes to the lawsuit that was lobbied against her by Michael Darby for her comments about him on The Real Housewives of Potomac last season. Okay, so here is what the headline reads: Candice Dillard Bassett grateful for common sense as Michael Darby's defamation lawsuit is dismissed. All right. Candice thanked her legal team for helping the plaintiff get exactly what he deserves from her, which is absolutely nothing. What a way to end the lawsuit. So let's take a gander at what happened here. All right. So the article states that this was filed on February 15th, 2023, and the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. All right. And that was issued on January the 3rd, with the final order entered on January 31st, which is likely why we're hearing about it now. So it looks like Michael was precluded from maintaining a lawsuit against Candice based on a release that he signed to appear on the reality TV series. So here's the thing. This goes back to the notion that potentially, I can't say what happens in housewife contracts, but I can attest to what I have seen in I believe my own, is that you can't really sue anybody else on the show, like another cast member. From my understanding, that is the case. All right. Now, when it is dismissed with prejudice, it basically becomes a final judgment and may not be reasserted. So, they can't bring it back. This is a done deal. It is settled. It is final. It is finished. Now, Candice has really not spoken about the lawsuit. She's been refusing to discuss the matter, on Potomac, as well as really in the news. But now that it's over, she's breaking her silence to people exclusively. She says, I'm incredibly grateful to God for protecting me. I'm also grateful for common sense, the support of my family, and my incredible legal team for helping the plaintiff get exactly what he deserves from me. Absolutely nothing. Okay. So I need to understand further about what that clause is in the contract. I'm assuming it protects the cast members against things like defamation, but perhaps not civil lawsuits. Just kind of thinking back to some other lawsuits that we've seen in the Bravo universe, and how they have been done. I'm not a legal expert, so I'm not going to pretend to be able to give you guys all those details. But what I can say is that I am sure that Candice is relieved that this is behind her. I am interested to see how this will impact her and Ashley's relationship as they go into the reunion. Because what we know about Candice and Ashley is that they can get along when they want to. They can spar when they want to. But ultimately, it seems to me like two women who actually somewhat like each other, or at least respect each other enough that they can bring it back around when they need to for the sake of getting along as cast members, which is ultimately what we really want to see on these shows. Yes, a little bit of drama, a little bit of chaos, but ultimately resolve. As with any television show, when we're watching a scripted show, by the end of the episode, or at least by the end of the season, there's typically a resolve. And if there's not, it is drama that extends to the next season for some different purpose or in some different way. That is how TV works in general. When you look at the beats of a TV show, you look at the beats of a movie, there's typically a catalyst, a theme, and then at the end, a resolve of some sort. All right. So we'll see how this plays out on the Real Housewives of Potomac and what this means for Candice and Ashley moving forward. All right. I don't assume that we'll be seeing Michael Darby on that show anytime soon or at all moving forward, which might have explained his absence on this particular season as well. Perhaps, maybe, I don't know, hoping that if he wasn't on the season and this lawsuit was happening, then it could possibly work in his favor. Again, I don't know. That is an assumption on my part, and we are going to move on. So let's talk about your girl Kenya Moore, baby. Your girl Kenya Moore. So Kenya Moore is making the radio rounds. And that is because Kenya Moore has a movie coming out on Lifetime coming up on February the 10th, which we will talk more about in just one second. Kenya basically, at the end of the day, when she stopped by V103 Atlanta, she told Big Tigger, okay, and the crew that essentially similar. She said something that basically to me, I felt like Sheree has already indicated in an interview that they are casting, that casting things are happening, which I kind of feel like we've already known that. We know that something is happening with casting. But Kenya indicates that they're getting very close to make an announcement on who's staying or going for season 16. Now, unless this is some wildly popular big name, I would actually rather them not state who exactly is going to be on the cast, because I think with that comes this level of expectation of performance, and or a question of who. So then the internet has to go and dig up the information themselves to find out who this person may be. I would rather them just start filming and see what gets cracking. I think that would be the better bet, because all of these little casting announcements that they tend to make, I feel like, announcing Sanya Richards Ross, I felt like, what? I mean, no shade to her, again, lovely lady, but Housewives, I just don't feel like she brings what's needed. But maybe that's because she hasn't grown into it. And for that, I feel like that is where you have to go in auditioning the ladies and then seeing who sticks. Okay. And when you bring in a new housewife, you don't just bring in one, you bring in two. It has been shown that that is usually the better bet. Now, with regards to who's returning, she does say that not everybody is asked back. Everybody can't sit with us. And she does indicate that, I don't know, she is very coy about her own involvement in it, but it would almost lead you to believe that if she's commenting about it, that she may already know that she's secured, or at least may already know that she will be asked. So I just don't see the show functioning without Kenya, personally speaking. I think that because they know that Kenya knows what to do, the right questions to ask, things to say to shake up a scene. And it has been often stated that the girls look to Kenya as they looked to Nene previously to get things started. With regards to Nene, speaking of, Kenya does say that the door is closed for Nene, and it's a shame to hear. It's a shame to hear to me because, listen, I know that Nene has sued the network, and that usually indicates, as Kenya states, that you are a done deal and there will no longer be a working relationship there, because I'm sure they would not want to risk having the same thing happen again should things not go her way. However, Comma.org, who do you guys think will be returning? It sounds to me like halfsies. Will it be Kenya, Candy, and Sheree? Last we heard, Candy didn't seem to know what was going on. but Sheree did seem to have a clue about casting. Kenya seems to have a clue about casting. I'm just putting together the tea leaves here and wondering what indeed is really going on down to the casting of Atlanta. And finally, more information about the Kenya Moore movie that will be coming out on the Lifetime. Let's get into it. Nothing to it but to do it. Now, we talked, I think it was it yesterday we talked about Nene going to Lifetime. And we also have some great news from Kenya. Kenya will be in the Lifetime original movie Abducted Off the Street, which is the Carlisha Gaither story. It will premiere on Lifetime on Saturday, February the 10th. She's playing a mother on a desperate search for her daughter who was kidnapped by a homicidal predator. All right. So Kenya tagged the caption with Road to Daytime Emmy, excuse me. I feel so good about this movie. I can't wait for you all to see it. 10 days and counting. Lifetime, February 10th at 8 p.m. Will you be seated in front of your telly watching the movie? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it. I told you the other day when I talked about Nene, when you get to that Lifetime space, and Kenya is smart to be doing so, because as we know, Kenya Moore has her own production company. So my question is, did Kenya put this together? And if so, that's pretty dope. I need to do some more research to find out whether or not her production company had anything to do with it, or if she's just there on the acting front. Regardless, it is a good look. Now, Kenya, to me, is the type of person that I feel like is going to be one of those ones that say, I want to make it, and I want to star in it, okay? Because I want every last bit of that coin. And she seems to be, again, we've seen her do this before in her own career, so why not get back to it? And I could see, again, them wanting to work with Kenya for a very long time because she's a notable name and she has been in the acting space before. All right. So that is the tea that we have for you guys on this good Saturday morning. Um, if anything else pops off, I'll be sure to hop back on. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.